Hi there, and welcome to the 1966-67 DB Insider video. In this video, I will give you some hints where to find those hidden gems, the wonder kids of the database, and there is a lot of them. I won't spoil them all, but I will give you some hints so it's easier for you guys to jump into this database and find some of the true legends of the time, so you can go and become the king of football in the 1960s. We'll start out with a category that I'm calling Famous Fathers. Now, we'll start out with the Lampards. Frank Lampard Sr. He went on to become a West Ham legend with more than 500 games for the club, also capped 2 times by the England national team. Well, of course, his son, Frank Lampard, is known from his time in Chelsea and the England national team. Frank Lampard Sr. is starting out in West Ham in the database, only 17 years old on the youth team. He is a solid left fullback. Go and get him to your club. This is the Lampards. Another famous father in the database, Roberto Vieri. Playing in Sampdoria, he's only 20 years old when the database begins. He can play on top and as an attacking midfielder. His son is of course Christian Vieri, the Italian legend, the goal-scoring king of Italy. His father, Roberto, didn't have quite as good a career as Christian, but if you like the nostalgia, why don't bring in Roberto Vieri? This is the Vieris. Now on to France. This is the Djorkaeffs. Jean Djorkaeff, starting out in Marseille in the first season of this database. He will be 26 years old. He's already been capped by France 18 times. He is a left back. He can play at the left wing back. He can play at the left midfielder and also in the central defense. For us who remembers his son, Yuri Djorkaeff, he was a striker, he was an attacking midfielder, he was a French genius at that position. Now it's time to try and play with his father, Jean Djorkaeff in Marseille. This is the Djorkaeffs. Now on to Denmark. This is the Laudrups. Finn Laudrup, only 20 years old when the database begins. This attacking midfielder, he's playing in Vienna in Austria. His 2 sons, Michael Laudrup, played in Barcelona and Real Madrid, and his younger brother Brian Laudrup. He is a legend in Glasgow Rangers in Scotland. The legend says that Finn Laudrup was better than both his sons. This is the Laudrups. Famous fathers of the 1966-67 DB, and there's a whole lot more of those in the database. Go and find the rest of them yourself. Now we'll jump into the database and I will show you some hidden gems, some more famous gems, some probably wonder kids. Let's check it out. We'll start out with one of the true legends of the 1966-67 database. And please ignore his injury. He won't have this injury when you begin the game. This is of course Alex Ferguson. He is remembered as the great manager of Manchester United. Now you can go and make him a legend in this database as well. Alex, he was a target man, a striker for Dunfermline. He did score the goals in the Scottish League, and he did continue to do that for many seasons in Scotland. Could you go and manage Alex Ferguson into becoming a quality striker of this database? If you go to the English 3rd Division and find the team called Scunthorpe, you'll find this guy, Kevin Keegan, only 15 years old. He went to become an English national team legend and, well, of course, a Liverpool fan favorite. Kevin Keegan at 15 years old, can you go and develop those attributes and make a world beater out of him? He could be a potential steal in the database. If you need some immediately world-class talent, then go to Bayern Munich. There you'll find Der Kaiser, Franz Beckenbauer, at 20 years old. This is of course one of the most famous wonderkids of the database, and he could potentially be a bit expensive to get away from Bayern Munich. But are you up for the task? Now on to a true Italian legend, Gigi Riva, playing in Cagliari when you're beginning this database. He's already capped 2 times by the Italian national team, and no wonder why. This guy scored the goals for his entire career. His left leg is a legend in Italy. The left foot of Gigi Riva is the most mean of all time. Do you need a perfect top-class striker prospect? You got him right here in Cagliari. Then we travel on to Argentina and find the team Quilmes. Their promising goalkeeper by the name of Ubaldo Filiol. He went on to become an Argentinian legend, also by many described as the best goalkeeper from South America of all time. He was known by the name of El Pato, the Duck. Ubaldo Filiol, 16 years old in Argentina, he could be a steal. Now, if you ever seen a clip from the World Cup 1966, there is a save from a header from Pelé, saved by this guy, Gordon Banks, maybe the most iconic save of all time in football history. Gordon Banks, he's playing at Leicester. At 28 years old, he is already a legend and true world class. Now Gordon is at this time mentoring a young goalkeeper by the name of Peter Shilton. The 16-year-old Peter Shilton in the youth team at Leicester, tutored by the great Gordon Banks. This cannot get any better. Look at his career. There's no other career like Peter Shilton's. He played until he was 45 years old, and more than 1,000 league games in his career. More than 125 games for the England national team. Ladies and gentlemen, go and get yourself Peter Shilton. And now on to Brazil. In the club Corinthians, you'll find Flavio Minuano. Flavio is capped 17 times by the Brazilian national team, scoring 10 goals. He has already proven himself. He can score the goals in Brazil. Look at Flavio Minuano. Do you need a top striker? He could be a choice. And while we are in Brazil and in Corinthians, we need to take a look at Garrincha. If you've never seen Garrincha play football, please do yourself the favor and YouTube the guy. He is famous for his magnificent dribble abilities. He is famous for his off-field trouble. He's 32 years old when you start this database. Do you need a world-class wild card for your team? Garrincha could be your man. Now on to some Eastern European legend. This is Georgi Asparuchov. This Bulgarian legend is described as the best striker of all time coming out of the country Bulgaria, and that says a lot when you also had Hristo Stoichkov playing for your national team. But Georgi Asparuchov, this legend, he can score the goals, his attributes will tell you that, and if you look at his career, he scored the goals for club and country for a long time. He's only 23 years old when you begin this database. He could be a really good steal. Now, Celtic did win the Champions League this season, also known as the European Cup. Celtic won the final against Inter Milano in Portugal and was known as the Lisbon Lions. At the same time, the Celtic youth team were known as the Quality Street Gang and had some famous players in that youth team. For one, Kenny Dalglish. He went on to become a Liverpool legend, a Liverpool manager, maybe the all-time great of the Liverpool. And with this haircut, he could also have been in the Beatles, if I must say so. He's only 15 years old when you start the database. Can you develop his attributes? and make him into a world-class star player. On to the English second division and the club of Northampton, which has just got relegated from the England first division. At Northampton, you find a 15-year-old Phil Neal in a Liverpool shirt, so obviously he went on to become a true Liverpool legend. Phil Neal, 15 years old, young fullback, he could be a steal for your defensive line. If you want to find a true Juventus legend, here is your guy, Roberto Bettega. Only 15 years old, he had a magnificent career, one of the best strikers of all time coming out of Italy. This is Roberto Bettega for you. Can you go and get him into your team and develop him? It shouldn't be that difficult. Do you need a young goalkeeper? Then go back to the English third division and find the team Scunthorpe. In there we find earlier Kevin Keegan. My, they also have Ray Clemens, a true England national team legend. He will be 17 years old when you start this database. Look at his value. Go and get yourself a young goalkeeper for the future. He's already described as a promising goalkeeper. He could easily become a wonder kid. Ray Clemens in Scunthorpe. And now there is of course more talented players coming out of Bayern Munich. This 14-year-old Paul Breitner, he is a true legend of German football. I don't believe this picture is taken when he was 14 years old, but who knows? Look at his attributes at 14 years old. He will definitely be a versatile, fantastic footballer for the future. When we are talking about a steal, this guy, Teofilo Cubillas, could easily be one of the best. He's only 17 years old. This Peruvian is playing at home at Alianza Lima, and he went on to become a Peruvian legend, also described as the best Peruvian player of all time. El Nene, the kid he was known as for his boyish looks, but damn, did he got some skill. Are you in need of a right fullback or right wing back? This could be your guy, Se Maria. I remember in my 1995-96 database, there's also a right fullback, right wing back called Se Maria, but he didn't look quite as good as this kid. 17 years old, his attributes is out of this world. In this time period, Brazil was famous for producing some of the first and greatest wingbacks of all time. Se Maria is absolutely one of them. Well, it isn't difficult to see Mick Channon is a quality footballer. He's only 17 years old at this point of time and already looks like a world beater. Mick Channon scored goals for his entire career. This could be a true England legend over time. Could you bring him in from Southampton? His price tag right now is really cheap. We go back to South America, Uruguay, and find the club Peñarol. In Peñarol they really have some interesting players. One of them, this Chilean defender, Elias Figueroa. Go and Google this guy. He for sure is one of the best defenders of all time coming out of Chile and South America. Elias Figueroa, quality signing for a very cheap price tag. Juventus have always been known for producing some of the greatest talents of the country of Italy. This guy, Franco Gausio, 17 years old at the beginning of this database. He looks really interesting and he was a brilliant football player. So go and get yourself an Italian winger, Franco Gausio. In the English second division you will find Charlton. In Charlton they have a player named Billy Bonds. He's not really known for his time in Charlton, but more from his time in West Ham. He played almost until he was 40 years old. I don't know how many games for West Ham, 700 maybe. This is a West Ham legend. He is a great player. Look at this 19-year-old midfielder, right back. He's pretty versatile, 20 determination. You don't go wrong with Billy Bonds. In Germany, they are known for producing some of the best defenders of the world, and they also did in 1966. This 19-year-old Bertie Fuchs, with the beautiful haircut, he went on to become a tough, hard-fighting right fullback, playing a lot of games for the German national team. So do you want some quality? Go to Mönchengladbach and find Bertie Fuchs. Brazil has always been known for producing the best attacking players in the world. And there is a lot of talent in Brazil who can live up to that hype. One guy who can that for sure. That is Rivelino. Rivelino at 20 years old already played 12 caps for Brazil, scoring 3 goals. This guy is magnificent, fantastic. Described as a wonder kid, I promise you quality if you go and sign Rivelino. As I said, in Brazil they always produced fantastic attacking football players. In this coincidence, the name of Jairzinho, playing in Botafogo, already played 7 caps for Brazil, scoring 1 goal. He's 21 years old. This winger or attacking midfielder is one of the most brilliant players coming out of Brazil of all time. He looks fantastic. Could you get him to Europe or wherever you're playing? Go for Jairzinho. And finally, but not least, why not go to Ajax, who's always produced a lot of youngsters, and this one in particular, the great Johan Cruyff, only 19 years old at the beginning. 2 caps for the Dutch national team, scoring 1 goal. His career went on to become infamous. Johan Cruyff, a lot of skill. Can you even go and develop his attributes? I think so. What will the price tag be from Ajax if you want to get him away? This is going to be one of my main targets when I start a save. Johan Cruyff. With this video, I hope I helped you a little bit when you jump into the 1966-67 database for FM19. There's a whole lot more talents and quality players to find in the database than I have shown you. So please go and have fun with it, and I'm looking so much forward to hear some stories from your guys' saves with this database. Thank you for watching. Please follow, subscribe and comment. My name is The Mad Scientist.